Welcome to Modern Management of the Older Adult, brought to you by the Institute of Clinical Excellence.
Morning team, my name is Dr. Trissa Hutchinson, occupational therapist here with the Modern Management of the Older Adult podcast, brought to you by the Institute of Clinical Excellence. Today, I am here to talk to you about a mile of smiles. So this is an active aging event that I hosted this past week at my work to celebrate older adults that wanted to participate in an active aging fitness related event. Background on why I put together this event. I was thinking about how myself, I love to be engaged. I love to be active. I love to do different competitions. And in our community, we have 5K races, we have 10Ks, we have Bike the Lake, we have triathlons or full marathons, half marathons. We have all different sorts of competitions and things like that for mostly our younger adult population. Our older adults can participate in some of those, but they're not always geared towards the entire population or very inviting and friendly for everybody. Nothing wrong with the events that are currently being held, but I wanted to really promote active aging and provide an opportunity for older adults, maybe that use their walkers or sometimes use a wheelchair or a cane, and get them excited and motivated about an opportunity for them specifically to participate in that can be fitness related, fun, and bring a lot of smiles. So this podcast, I'm going to break down 10 steps into developing and setting up and executing your own community event geared towards celebrating active aging and promoting active aging within your community. So step number 1, you need to dream up your event. A Mile of Smiles came to fruition when I was signing up for my own triathlon. I was thinking about how am I going to get the older adults that I work with motivated and have something for them to celebrate and look forward to and train for. So dream up the event. Why? Also, what is the purpose of your event? Okay. So again, for me, that was celebrating and promoting and motivating active aging. So step 1, dream up your event. Step 2, you're going to have to nail down a location. So you have this big dream. Now, where in your community could you realistically host such an event? Okay. You can ask around, think about, for example, for us, there's a beautiful walking path around the assisted living facility that I work at. And so I just asked the executive director of the building if we could do it at that location, and it worked out great. So think about where could you realistically do this, where it's also inviting and friendly for the entire community. Be mindful of thinking about parking, location to bathrooms, things like that. Step number 3, ask your target population for input and ideas early and often. Ask your target population for their input early and often. This will help them get excited. This will help them get motivated. This will also ensure that your ideas are not overtaking what your target population would really enjoy and want to do. Because yes, we may think we know, but ultimately, if you're not in your current target population, then you should probably ask the people who are. So I did a lot of things like asking the older adults that I knew would be excited about participating in this event. Would you like this type of game? Would you like this type of walk? What would excite you and what would get you motivated to participate? So again, asking them early and often, and then really starting to get everything going in terms of marketing. So when I was asking them things like, would you participate? And when they started saying yes, I asked about, what about volunteers? And we started asking volunteers to join us as well. I didn't have to have all of the details nailed down before asking for volunteers and participants. Does that make sense? So like, rather than having everything 100% detailed, lined up, this is the first year of the event. So I started asking people to participate. I nailed down a date, when I picked the location. And then that's when I started asking people to help out. So dream up your event, nail down the location and date for that. Number 3, ask your target population for their input early and often. Okay. Step 4, now that you have kind of the date where you're going to have it, you know that your target population is aware of the event, you're getting input. Now I want you to ask for sponsors and donations. We want to be mindful of cost in these events. So I encourage you, ask around. Explain to the people in your community what your goal is. What's your why? If you want to promote an opportunity for active aging and celebrate active aging in your community, I guarantee you there are people who also would love to support that. They just may not have the capacity to want to actually execute and run an entire event, but they would 100% support you in doing so. So I did things like asking friends, family, local businesses, the CrossFit gym that I joined or that I participate with. A bunch of the athletes from that gym helped with volunteering. One of the athletes from there runs a business and donated a ton of lanyards to hand out with actually my company logo, which was super cool. Other things, asking for donations for food, for tables, chairs. You can typically get those free from either like the local fire department or churches. Ask if someone has a nice camera. As far as music, I would ask others just to bring their speakers, but ask early for donation sponsors. A lot of things that you may think could be really daunting and expensive, when you ask around, actually a lot of people are willing to donate their time, money, and effort to support a really good and fun cause. Okay, then number 5, step 5, I want you to plan your layout. So now that you kind of have a date nailed down, you're asking people, you're explaining what your purpose is, now you really need to start nailing down that plan. So what are you going to do? Are you going to have a walk? Is it going to be a race? Is it going to just be a participation? Is it going to be celebrating that people are just showing up in the first place? Are you going to have games there? For example, for a Mile of Smiles, what we did was we had the walking path at the place that I work at. It's a third of a mile around. And so we encourage people to complete at least 1 lap. However, if they wanted to continue, 3 laps would make a mile. Obviously 6 would make 2 miles, 9 would make 3 miles. We had a couple of people that did that. But then to break it up and make it more fun than just walking, we had stations along the way. So we had one station that was overhead press, and we had a ton of dumbbells, and we had them build up to their heaviest overhead press. We had one station that was just beanbag toss, just something fun to do. We had one that was a 30-second sit to stand test, and then we had the chart there so that they could look at, based on their age, what number of reps they should be getting if they wanted to. But we didn't throw that in their face. We celebrated and encouraged everyone to participate. We had one station that was throw a marshmallow as far as you can and try to beat the people that you were with. And then we had a max out deadlift station building up to a 50-pound kettlebell. And next year we will have to get an even heavier kettlebell. So it was super fun. And when we finished, they got a card that they had to write on that said, I stay active because. And then they all wrote a reason, and then we're putting those up very visible, and we're going to share those with the community. Also, with all of our donors, all participants got a t-shirt that said a Mile of Smiles. They got a lanyard. They got a sticker that says old, not weak. And they got a microfiber towel with our business cards attached to it. So very fun. They were very excited to have things. And then they had a meal afterwards, and it was a really fun day where they were just celebrating being together and walking. And you saw people who normally don't enjoy exercise or say that they don't want to get out on the walking path or they're too nervous. They were trying 4 or 5 plus laps. I had one woman who she had only ever completed 1 lap before, and she made it a full mile, and she was so excited to do so. So again, step 5, plan your layout. What are you doing? Is it a walk? Is it games? And make a detailed list of all the volunteers that you're going to need for that walk, for those games. Okay. Now we're getting more towards the actual event. So you've set up your layout, all of those things. Now, step 6. During the event, I want you to over communicate. Totally over communicate in the sense of I want you to make signs and I want them to be everywhere. Okay. I want signs for the bathroom. I want signs for the pathway. I want signs for the station, where they sign up, where they register, where the prize pickup is, where the food is, all of those things. Everyone, when they come to a fitness related event, sometimes they're really excited, but oftentimes people are a little nervous, even when we're older adults. So even I had 92-year-olds out there, and you could tell they were just a little bit nervous because it's that like competition / fitness event, nerves that start to come out. So over communicate, make it easy, and take away any stressors of what do I go, where do I do, what's going on. Step 7, execute the event. Execute the event. When you're planning, I want you to make sure that if you are in charge of the event, make sure that you are leaving yourself free. Do not assign yourself to one specific task, because in doing so, you no longer are able to walk around and make sure everything's going smooth. So again, leave yourself free. Your job is to walk around, take the path, take some time, make sure that everyone's having a good time, everyone has what they need, and just help everything run smooth. Be the problem solver. If there's something going awry, that's okay. You've already planned for it and you're free. You can help get it right back on track. Step 8, I want you to thank everybody. Everybody. So thank you to participants. Thank you to volunteers. Thank you to volunteers 25 times over and over and over, because without them, this event will not go on. Thank the facility for having you. Thank your sponsors. Thank participants again, just for coming and being there and being present and supporting this awesome, fun opportunity. So thank everybody. Step 9, those pictures that you asked someone with that nice camera to take, make sure you start posting them right away, because people will be excited and they want to see what they look like when they're doing all these cool things. They want to share with their family and their friends and use that as marketing for next year. Okay. If you run a successful event, most likely what's going to happen is they're going to ask for it to happen again next year. We were not even halfway through this year's event and people were like, oh, I hope we're doing this again next year. So use those pictures and begin advertising for next year right away. And then step 10, meet with your volunteers and or the facility and or whoever helped you out. Meet with those people and talk about the highs and the lows for this year's event in terms of what went really well, what was kind of sticky, what could be done better next year, what should we keep, what could we change, and then write it all down. Okay? Make sure, because it's fresh in your brain right now, don't rely on yourself to remember this 365 days from now. Think about that stuff right now while it's fresh, and then build and write down notes and be prepared for next year. So, okay. A Mile of Smiles, this awesome opportunity for older adults in the community to be active and celebrate active aging, was such a fun event. Again, we started early. We talked about the event very early. We got older adults engaged in planning. Being that we started so early, this also gave an opportunity for our older adults to train. Just like you and I, when we sign up for a race, typically we don't sign up the day before and then hope that it goes well, right? We take some time and we train. So this was a cool environment and cool opportunity to see older adults think about. They knew that they were going to do a lot of walking and games, and so they started doing more walking within the community. And I saw other people that signed up and they said they're practicing for the event. So very fun, cool way to get older adults active in your community. But dream up your event, nail down your location, ask your target population early and often, ask for sponsors and donors, plan your layout, make sure you know what you're doing very specifically and what volunteers you will need. Over communicate during your setup, execute the event, thank everybody a million times, post a lot of pictures for your marketing, and then get ready and plan for next year. I hope that some of you take the opportunity to build and create a cool awesome event for active aging and celebrating active aging within your communities. Have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. This is Dr. Trissa, occupational therapist. If you haven't already, I encourage you all to hop on the ICE Physio app, where there is tons of information regarding all of our courses and different resources that are free and available for you guys to enjoy and participate to help with your practices back home in your PT and OT worlds. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the MMOA podcast. If you found this helpful, please share with someone that could benefit. And if you're looking for more practical content to help you better serve older adults, head over to www.mmoa.online, where you can learn more about our free resources, our community, continuing education courses, and our certification. Once again, that's www.mmoa.online. Thanks for listening.